Well, it looks like the Hollywood bubble is bursting, or at least the streaming bubble is bursting. And The Wrap has an article about J.J. Abrams and the downfall of Bad Robot and their $250 million. I thought it was a $550 million.
I don't know. I'm just saying. That's the first thing I thought of when you said a Bad Robot going down. I was like, wait a minute, they got some huge deal, and then it was supposed to be exclusive, and then somehow he was able to still do other stuff, and then, now they're like, oh, we have to move because we can't afford it. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting because they're talking like this is a eulogy for Bad Robot, but really this article is more of a eulogy about this particular era of spending in Hollywood, where they massively overspent trying to lock down talent into these exclusive deals, and it blew up in their faces because most of these people just didn't bring it. They didn't bring it. And now J.J. Abrams is, for those of you who don't know, he's downsizing Bad Robot, and he's moving what's left of the company to New York. He's actually moving it out of L.A.
Yeah, and I don't know if New York's gonna be much better, if we're gonna be honest.
I
given
don't
how
know.
New York's been, but
Yeah, so let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And this is the end of this era of Hollywood. Yeah, so before we get into the article more, this is Zach Stentz, who I believe is a screenwriter. Yeah, he wrote Thor, X-Men First Class, which I love. The Flash, well, they can't all be winners. Rim of the World, Jurassic World, Camp Cretaceous, Empire Wolves, Raven, etc., etc., etc. He said the Bad Robot building in Santa Monica with its green roof, chef, soundstage, workshops, and 3D printers was the closest Hollywood got to a fancy Silicon Valley of San Francisco tech headquarters.
Chefs. They had chefs.
Yes.
Oh, for fun.
I can't imagine where all the money went, right?
No.
So seeing it sold off feels like a bursting of the .com bubble moment for LA.
Oh, that was the first. Okay. Like, where have you been? You know what I mean? This has been going on for a while now. This isn't surprising to anyone who's paying attention.
No, because if you look at this, like, none of this was sustainable. Like, we've talked about the streaming wars and the damage that will be felt for years in Hollywood. In fact, I just saw today they're trying to wrap this Warner Brothers Paramount thing up by July of this year, like a couple of months from now. And I think a lot more people are going to get gone.
Mm-hmm.
A lot more people are going to get gone.
I agree.
And the reason we're here, people are like, about Hollywood. They're like, well, Hollywood's, you just want everything to fail. It's like, no, the reason things are failing, Hollywood is failing. Hollywood has, and we're going to do another video talking about the WGA. They took basically the first deal they were given, because I think a lot of these people know the writing is on the wall for a lot of their jobs, and they're taking what they can get at this point. So it does feel very much like a bubble burst. So that's actually pretty appropriate. But here's the article from the Wrap. Just nothing lasts forever. JJ had a solid 20-year run, which is far longer than most people. A top agent tells the Wrap.
Honestly, I think he overstayed, for a while, because he had some success with some stuff, but a lot of it, was because, Star Trek and things that were Star Wars, things that were already established.
Yeah.
And everybody was excited because they were coming back, but that doesn't mean that he did a great job. You know what I mean? And for whatever reason, they kept just handing him things. And I was like, and it's the same with all these people in Hollywood. They keep giving people these gigs. And you're like, why do you keep giving somebody gigs when you know that they are incapable of doing a good job? It doesn't make sense to me.
I think they're hoping they're getting a straight pay dirt with it. But the thing, with Abrams, that's it. Like, even his early stuff, you look at his early stuff and it was cool, but it was reminiscent of Spielberg. And then it turns out that that's basically all this guy can do is riff off of Spielberg and Lucas and really give you a Temu version of Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever it is he's involved with. And it's not working out. I remember when this deal was announced, a lot of people were like, man, that's a crazy amount of money. But beyond that, like right after it was announced, it was supposed to be an exclusive deal, and he went running to Apple and tried to do a Speed Racer movie with Apple.
I know, yeah.
So
we were like, what? When that happened, we talked about it. Because I thought this deal was an exclusive deal. And then immediately he's going someplace else. And then my next thing is, if it's not exclusive, did he have to give the money back? I don't know if he did or not.
I don't think he did, but he basically had that money
Must be
for
nice.
I know, right? He had that money for 5 years. So, according to the article, Bad Robot was a haven for original and genre-busting storytelling, but Abrams' company landed in the middle of a heated bidding war when he set out to find a cushy studio deal in 2019, eventually landing at Warner Media for over $250 million across 5 years. So $50 million a year. And yeah, it probably would have run out a year or two ago. The trajectory of the company after that deal was signed underscores how significantly Hollywood has changed over the last half decade and how the company failed to live up to the pressure of the mega deal. After a few new shows or movies materialized from the partnership, Abrams and Bad Robot re-upped with Warner Brothers at the end of 2024 for a much less pricey first look deal. So they're not going to give him money up front to lock in whatever he produces.
But they probably learned their lesson on that one. Oh,
yeah. And they don't have the money they had before. Again, so many of these studios blew themselves up chasing streaming, right? Oh, no, there we go. For years, the studios and streamers battled it out to offer 9-figure deals to proven filmmakers, betting they'd keep delivering hits and overpaying to keep top talent in-house as the streaming wars raged. But amid the industry-wide contraction, are we allowed to say that, or does that make you a Nazi if you say that things aren't so great right now in Hollywood?
Yeah, right.
Studios are no longer content to bankroll prestige shingles without proven returns. They said these massive overall deals, once a way to lock down talent, are now seen as risky bets that rarely pay off.
Because so all these people like him and like, you know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge and all that stuff got to walk away with all this money and do nothing. You know, honestly, these studios were smart. They'd give money to people that knew what the fuck they were talking about. You know, here we'll retain you for far less money. Tell us if this is a good deal or not.
Yeah.
You know, we're available. I'm just saying, you could throw us a couple $1 million a year and we'll tell you if you're going to lose money or not.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's way cheaper than giving them money to sit there and do nothing and put their thumbs up their ass.
Film producer who spoke to the Wrap offered a sharp take. It just means the town is contracting and studios no longer get maneuvered by agents to give massive deals that don't bear out. Well, yeah, and that's part of the reason they're looking at podcasts and YouTube and stuff, because they're like, we don't have to pay somebody umpteen $1 million a year to maybe get some streaming show that gets like 6 episodes and gets canceled.
Right.
We can just bring in somebody who's a proven talent and pay them a little bit.
Well, no, you can't, because these people just take the money and run.
Yeah, well, yeah, that happens a lot. And that's that, you know, we saw this, I'm not going to, you know, name names or whatever, but there was, you know, speaking of podcasts and stuff, there actually was a pretty well-known podcast studio that literally bet the farm on what is now a tainted brand. And they paid the person who had an association with that tainted brand like $150 million up front for a podcast. I'm like, there is no way in hell you will ever recoup that money off of a podcast.
Oh, you're talking about the Bachelor people?
I'm talking about the Bachelor people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just gotta rip that Band-Aid right off.
I don't fucking care. Yeah, they wouldn't give all this money to these people because they were like, you know,
they were
on a show
Bachelor contest. Yeah.
Like they were on a show once and nobody cares. Nobody's going to listen to them. They gave them all kinds of money. Instead of giving money to established people who would have brought the views and would have earned the money, they gave it to these people who just sit there and get squat views, and they could have just flushed the money down the toilet. They should have, instead of giving it to people who were kind of whiners and didn't deserve it in the first place.
So then other people
flushed the toilet.
Yeah, exactly. Then other people that were in that network wound up suffering because payments got later and later and later because all the money was going to these mega deals.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and
the people that they had in their network would have brought views. There was other people they had that were big that would have brought views. And instead they went and made deals with these dumbasses.
Because they're like, oh, they were on reality television. It's like, yeah, it's all fake. And now
so
the whole
what? No one cared then. They don't care now. After that season's over, they're like, who?
Yeah, pretty much, right? It's like, oh, he was on The Bachelor like 6 years ago. I'm like,
who?
Shit. Yeah, right. So this is interesting though. This studio executive has a different view. He said Abrams just lost his touch. He said it probably says more about Bad Robot than anything else, and the bottlenecks that can arise at talent-led production companies and how hard development is. He says it's pretty straightforward. They didn't produce any successful shows and had their deal cut significantly with each new contract until now. It's a you problem. Mm-hmm. Bad Robot did not respond to the Wrap's request.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they didn't.
Yeah. It talked about like, you know, Abrams became busy directing Star Wars, Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker. And basically they stopped developing their own stuff
And they kept
And
getting handed shit. It's
Yeah.
like, but and it wasn't. He kept proving that he wasn't a really good custodian of it, and they just kept giving him more. And I don't understand that. Hollywood keeps doing this. They get these actors or directors or people in there, and they clearly don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they just keep giving them more. And I don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Well, they're talking about all these announced projects that got canceled. They said they were going to do DC stuff. They were going to do Constantine, Madam X. They were going to do the Superman movie with the President Superman, Black Superman, the Ta-Nehisi Coates movie, and that got canceled.
That was they announced that. Honestly, Constantine would have been cool. Most of the rest, Justice League. I don't know. I just don't think anybody would have watched most of this. I think people are over the superhero shit.
When David Zaslav took over Warner Brothers in 2022, he took a hard look at Bad Robot's 9-figure deal. Only one Bad Robot movie had been made.
Yeah, that's insane.
A movie called Lou, which I had never heard of. It was on Netflix, not Warner Brothers. And the new regime decided the planned animated Batman TV series, Batman Cape Crusader, was no longer desired, and they moved it to Prime. That was it was the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini. Was it Paul Dini and Bruce Timm, or just anyway? It was kind of sorta a reimagining of Batman the animated series, but it was on Prime Video, and people were flipping out because the Penguin was gender swapped, but nobody cared about that show. Like, it got dumped, and that was it. And that's how this stuff gets dumped. It's like, okay, well, we overspent on this, and we'll just sneak it onto another streaming platform. I thought that was very weird. But the reason they did that is Amazon was willing to pay for it.
Yeah, well, that's just it. Somebody else will give you the money for it. You kind of recoup some of your money. But I would have flushed them, too, because they weren't bringing anything, but they were taking a lot.
Oh, yeah. Last November, the company sold their headquarters for $31 million to Black Bear. That's actually in California for an HQ. That's not a lot of money. Some people spend, $10-15 million on a house. So
that's true. I mean, in California, prices are ridiculous.
But here's their timeline. It's not great. All the stuff's canceled. Lovecraft Country, Westworld, I don't know, Demomondi. There's a whole bunch of it's in the works, but we don't know what's going to happen to it. They said for a while, Bad Robot was the place to be. Social media saw a bunch of employees taking over to pay tribute to the company. But somebody said that, yeah, this is basically an end of this era of Hollywood, which is wild. It's just, I don't know. They said, yeah.
People, okay, they're like, well, he lasted longer than most. There's a lot of people who last for a long time, but they can adapt or they can stay relevant. He couldn't.
No, and that's just it. And everybody has their day, right? And
how many damn lens flares do we need?
I know, right? So it's just, look, this is very indicative, I think, of where Hollywood is going to go from here. And this kind of goes along with everything we've been talking about, which is the money is running out. The easy money is gone. You're going to have to work for it now, and you're going to have to try to win back audience trust. And it can be done. I mean, if you look at Hail Mary and you look at Mario Galaxy and you look at a lot of these movies that are doing well, you look at some of these streaming shows that have kind of blindsided people and took off, it can be done. But the days of just getting paid to, sit on your ass and whatever, twirl your thumbs, it's over, man. Like, that's not going to happen again. I just want to
know. It's like Disney with KK. I just want to know how I can get a job where I can just fail repeatedly or do nothing, but they still just keep giving me money. Even though I just sit there and do nothing and just mess up right and left, and they're going to still hand me a bunch of cash. I want that job. How does one get that job?
Yeah.
First, I have to learn how to be incompetent, and that'd be a problem for me.
I feel like what happened. No, that's true. I feel like what happens is by the time the general public fully grasps what's going on, it's already too late. That ship has already sailed. And the people who get those deals first, they usually are the kind of the bellwether for whether or not it's going to work. We saw the same thing in graphic novels where it's probably about 15-ish years ago, a whole bunch of people like Scholastic were given what was a pretty sizable advance to do graphic novels, and some of them panned out and some of them didn't. And most of those people you don't hear about anymore.
No, I'm going to tell you what happens is somebody has a name or has buddies with somebody and has connections, and they're already well off and they already have stuff. They give them all this stuff. And then they pass over people who might have fresh, new, original ideas that could be the next, 20 years of whatever and could be fantastic. They don't get a turn because they're too busy looking at, Abrams. Like, why did he and his son get to write comic books. I mean, it's not because they were proven and they could do it. It was because they were there and they were a name. And that's what happens. They give the name a bunch of money, and then the people that are there, there's a lot of people that are probably passed over and have fantastic ideas that will never see the light of day because they gave Abrams a shit ton of money to sit there and do nothing. And they could have hired 20 other people for that with a whole bunch of other projects that could have been the next big franchise. And they just missed it because they were too busy staring at Abrams because they thought he was something.
Yeah. And that's
you bring them an idea that's good and they give you the money then. This whole idea that we're just going to pay you to think of ideas is ridiculous. He also thought the guys who did the Amazon Lord of the Rings show was great and they got their job because they could speak Elvish.
Oh shit, I forgot all about that. Yeah, it was kind of his fault too. Yeah, he could do no wrong. I mean, he basically was a Steven Spielberg fanboy who got lucky with a couple of projects and then they just started throwing mad money at him. And yeah,
like he can't do some things, but I mean, it's just like he never adapted, he never changed. He just kept doing the same things over and over again.
I mean, I like Super 8. Super 8 was pretty good.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he didn't change. He just kind of just stayed where he was and then like rested on his laurels. And then fortunately with Hollywood and other places like government and other things, that's what happens. And then they get everything handed to them because, well, they're the name. And then when they fail spectacularly, like KK and everything else, because, you know, she was an idiot. And they keep rewarding idiocy and incompetence or, you know, subpar, you know, stuff, instead of going and using the money to find people that might have a really good idea that might be the next big thing. They're too busy flushing money down the toilet on the old thing.
So I think those days are over.
Oh, good. Sure. I'm ready for the next big thing.
All right. We're going to wrap it up?
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.